So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another scene for the living world of darkness, rage across New York, wherein some shit has gone down. Crazy things have happened. People have died, people have frenzied, challenges have been made. It's madness. Um, but in the wake of this, having stepped away from where this punishment was meant to be given, regardless of whether the punishment dealt was the one that was intended, 10 Point is lumbering. She is still in Krynos. She is still very much agitated. She is linking or leaking into the link a level of distress and shock over the loss that has been suffered so very rapidly. And she is making her way full bore, not running, not sprinting, but just very methodically stalking to the area where the cub den resides, to the area where there is at least one head up on a stake. Very single minded.
Ralph was following behind after releasing a thundering howl to the Sept announcing his wormfoe position. He moves after his packmate rather quickly, using, advantages like pulse to the prey. Begins to tear after, moving with remarkable speed. He's not far behind. Guess he's probably burning rage to get to her as well, because he's on a lot of rage.
It's not the worst thing he could do with it, truth be told. So yeah, he will, I assume, catch up as they get into the clearer area or whatever situation they have directly around the cub dens in the Umbra. And 10 Point neglects the den itself entirely. She moves right past it and heads to where this head has been staked out, looking about the base of it, circling, looking for trinkets, for scratches, for scrolls, for any further indications. Though she is of a pretty good mind that she knows precisely what it means. And upon satisfying herself that this is the spot that she needs, she rears back up under her hind legs, back up under her feet, and stuffs a massive paw into her swag, of all things. And much as is depicted in her other image, this one here, we'll pull out what is a napped stone knife, very rough, very primitive. Certainly still sharp, if not especially straight, and of ample size for even her massive paws to hold.
Once he sees the knife, Aiden burns that true rage and just literally catches her arm, almost not with any force, but just catches the side of it. Even though he's in Hamid, it's lightning fast.
Thankfully, she's not like immediately in motion to use it. She's just drawn it out, drawn herself up, perhaps steadying herself or preparing to speak. And suddenly, there is an Aiden latched onto her arm. She pauses a moment and turns her big head around and down to regard him.
10 point.
That's right.
Cutting yourself is not going to make it easier. Even if it is a blood chiminage.
It is the most meaningful chiminage that I can offer without preparation, Raya.
Raya, what you did... Raya? 10 point. Temple, what you did for that boy in front of the true catcher is the most meaningful thing you could have done for him.
Perhaps it would have been more meaningful if I had done it before he was dead.
None of us could have reacted that fast. Not even me. What you did, 10 point. That took courage. And honored his memory in ways that the blood chiminage never will. You've done enough.
should have done more, Raya.
We all should have. From me, to you, to Bites the Weak, to the dead mother, to Jacob, to the true catcher, we all should have done more.
You should have seen the way he looked at me when he first came.
I know exactly the look. It's the way Chad looked at me. Dallas. All these people. We inspire people with our greatness and our passions and our drive and who we are. That is our role in the nation. That is what we live for. We gave that boy life at some point.
Gave him almost nothing, Raya.
But just a small touch of it entered his soul. That can be often the most fleeting but most beautiful feeling. And it probably gave him the courage to do what he did.
She still hasn't tried to make any move to claim her arm back, regardless of the size difference in the moment.
Shift down to hum at that point.
Why?
So I can look at you.
And, she makes for a very strange expression, considering her form. She still has kind of fat tears rolling down her muzzle, but nonetheless, her lips pull back in some sick semblance of a smile. Definitely not a threat posture. Definitely not a snarl.
Not that I
And
can't
she
see
lifts her head.
Not that I can't see you already. But so I can hold you. It's very hard to hold someone in Krynos.
I think I had started to forget, Raya.
What'd she say? That kind of broke up.
Sorry. She said, I think I had started to forget, Raya.
Forget what?
I wear your shape so much. And I enjoy it so much. And I forgot until he came back. Until he came here. And we told him that in the Umbra, any form was allowed. And he looked so happy when he melted up into the shape he was born in.
It's a tragic thing to inspire the young, 10 point. That doesn't mean you're a bad person for doing it. But it's the price we pay as we grow older. And we grow. And I'm sorry this one had such a tragic end.
And she finally starts kind of bowing her posture down, sinking her head, bringing it down to his height, which thankfully isn't much of a bow for her, considering that, she's not the tallest guru, but he's a pretty fucking tall human.
Yeah, he's a giant.
So So it doesn't take much of a bow of head to put her down to where she's on eye-to-eye level with him. Not, again, not seeking direct eye contact, not doing anything that could be considered challenging, even after what she said. The whole time you were gone, I felt no need to wear your shape, Raya. It is the thing I do for you.
I see.
And, having said it, she nonetheless finally, not even begrudgingly, just finally starts that slow melting down into a form that is not her own, which takes somewhat longer than snapping back to normal.
Aiden just stands up then, all of a sudden.
I mean, I assume he was standing in the first place.
No, he was even kneeling.
Oh?
Yep.
Shit. He snaps up. And she will kind of twitch a side glance because quick movement isn't always good. It's not always bad, but it's always something one pays attention to.
Resume your form in whatever form you want to choose. I'll leave you alone.
I don't want you to leave me alone.
I thought you liked going into Hamid because you just enjoyed. Never mind.
I do.
That's not what you just said.
Did not say I disliked it, Raya. I said that I do it for you. And that it scared me to realize how easy it was to just stay in it.
That can be the same said for any form.
In it.
It can. I'll tell you something. You'll walk over. I'll tell you something now that Tempo, you're one of the best guru in this entire set. Not because you're the strongest, but not because you're maybe necessarily the smartest or the quickest. It's because you have the most heart, Tempo. And you have the most passion. That's nothing to do with you being a menace. You, gamekeeper of the land, you stepped up when nobody else would. You've held it.
She starts to kind of open her mouth, but thinks better of it.
And when a new theurge came, you could have given it over. Hidden away for your duties just because you were a menace like Talataheen did. But no. You did it. You stick by it, and you intend to stick by it. And the only reason you would give up the position is to move into another one to help others grow. That to me does not strike anyone. To me, strikes someone who knows their duty and understands the compassion of it. So don't feel bad for that boy, because he saw you. And while you may not necessarily have the same will that he did, Doesn't make you any less of a guru for it. You're 20 times the guru that boy will ever be.
Her lips kind of firm. Just because phrasing.
And you're 20 times the guru that the majority of these helmets will ever be.
She again cracks what amounts to a sad attempt at a smile. It's weak, but it's there. Does knowing one's place make them such a fine guru, Raya?
You ran into a burning building and saved all the kin regardless of your own. You did that, all on your own without anyone telling you to. You did that. You took in kin. You did that all on your own. You have saved people's lives all on your own without even thinking. You have served this pack. You saved me without even thinking.
The last one finally seems to strike a note. And she almost unconsciously, the hand that does not have the giant stone knife in it, raises up and just kind of touches his cheek. Just brushes past it, ends up laying on his shoulder. Of course I did, Raya.
It's alright, you can cry all you want. You can do whatever. But you did the right thing. And yes, you were too late. We all were. You cup her face and stare right into his eyes. But you gave him peace. Right at the end, you made sure his body was honored. And you fought for him.
And that'll probably be about the point where he strikes just the right chord that she starts kind of just dissolving. She actually doesn't, it's not even lean into him to cry. Her legs just sort of give and she goes to fold down on the ground.
He catches her up, basically. He even catches the hand with the knife in it and just gently transfers it into his own. It's all very smooth.
Yeah, she's not holding it with any special force at that point. Hell, she might have even dropped it if he hadn't gone to catch it. And he'll catch her up, and she just, very carefully, mind you, because antlers are a thing, plants her face in his shoulder and just starts sobbing.
Yeah, he rubs her hair and just goes, shh. You know what I mean? Just rocking her very, very gently. He's so gentle. It's like the touch is so soft and so comforting. I promised I'd never leave you, 10 Point.
There's some choking noises, but there's still a very, very tiny nod against his shoulder.
And I'd never let you doubt yourself. I made a promise to you. And I'll stand by you to the ends of the earth. To hell and back.
And with some time to get the worst of it out of her system, she'll end up probably very, very close to him, still wrapped up, and finally turns her head about so that she can look at the disgusting staked head that's still fairly nearby.
And just stroke her hair softly, just rubbing the tears away with his thumb. Do you want me to be there with you tomorrow?
I won't win.
It doesn't matter about winning.
It doesn't.
I'm proud of you. I didn't speak because I wanted to see would you fight, and you did. I'm so proud of you for it. It's what I've wanted for you the moment I met you.
It was worth fighting over.
Now fight like that for the rest of them.
I do, Raya. When the need is there, I do.
But now show the rest of them. Show them all. Too long have you hidden away. Show them, 10 Point. And I'll be right there behind you. I promise.
I know.
He'll take her hand and put it on his chest right at the heart so she can feel the thump thump, thump thump, you know?
And it does have something of a hard-coded at this point soothing effect. And she continues, she finally rubs at her face, which is, of course, fantastically, like, red and blotchy. Because that pale skin and crying, not an attractive combination. Please let me offer. Raya.
What'd she say?
She basically said, please let me offer the Chimney Triad.
I don't like the idea of you giving more blood when you're about to give something far greater.
I'm going to let a sept see me lose.
You're fighting for the idea. Someone stood up for him in the end. Win or lose, you did that. And they'll see that.
And she finally kind of, she's kept her eyes down for the most part, except for when he's made a point of catching them. This time she raises them on her own, tilting her head back so she can actually look him in the eye that's nearest. Because tucked against his shoulder, there's no way she can see both. But do you think they will, Raya?
They will.
They see so little.
And then we all make them see. But cutting yourself in the blood chimney is not the way to do it. Not this time.
Blood is not for them.
I know who it's for, 10 Point.
And it's not for me.
I know who it's for, but this is not the way this time.
Does it bother you so much, Raya?
Because it's you.
It's just blood.
It's you.
It's an offering of pain and life.
It's your life and pain.
It's all I have to give.
You already gave it. already gave it the second you challenged the true catcher.
I don't know how much these gestures would mean to Eagle, not when I lose. Very well, this time.
Trust my judgment. Trust me.
I do trust you, Raya.
And have some faith.
And she finally laxes a bit. The hand that may have been like kind of held out as if like in request, palm up, and finally just drops. She'll instead go to hook an arm around him.
You just hold her very gently, and plus, I can't have my favorite person in the whole world hurt themselves too often.
And she again, it's a weak little smile, but she's trying. You've made a very poor there, Raya.
I know. She'll feel her legs buckle as he literally just hefts her up effortlessly, so she's literally hugging his chest.
She is familiar with this sensation, so it's not alarming to have sudden vertigo and a sudden disconnect with the ground. If anything, she just latches on, and not even to secure herself, but rather because she's been given the excuse to.
He'll lean in and tap his forehead against hers and basically do that kind of, nose to nose type Eskimo thing. You know what I mean? I would have made one hell of a ruin, though. He'll smile at her. That familiar, easygoing smile.
And finally, it startles her enough to get a proper little smile going.
Come on.
Not nearly a sneaky one.
No.
I think.
Loud and proud. That's the way to be.
You might have been as bad at sneaking as I am.
Maybe. Although you're getting better slowly, you lad.
It's a hopeless little shrug. Like, what you gonna do? Meh.
Let's take you home. And you're sleeping in my bed tonight. I don't care what Sheila says.
She actually seems a bit stricken by that.
I'm not leaving you on your own. Not tonight. I don't care what you say, what protests you make.
Not at the pack house.
Why not?
And she gets very downcast again. Kind of more of a shame base thing. She just kind of drops her head again. I spoke to Sheila.
As he's carrying her along, you know what I mean? He looks at her. Oh?
She asked me something. We played a game.
What did she ask you?
When I gave her a turn to ask. She asked me if I loved you, Ryan.
Interesting.
I don't don't want her.
What did you answer?
I told her that of course I did. You're my Raya. I told her that of all the people who have told me to die honorably, you're the one who looked at me and instead of saying die for you, said to live for you. And she accepted it. I could tell she was proud of you.
I didn't do it to get leadership.
No. But it is what she sees.
I did it for you.
And the arms around him kind of squeeze in a bit. I know.
And I would say some things, but both know why I can't.
She actually kind of scrunches her brow a bit, but decides not to go exploring that line of thought.
But know that I'm yours. Always.
She finally affixes him with a studying, for lack of a better word, a studying look.
Totally peony, that.
Scared too. Ugh. But fuck it. I wonder if she's got a huge amalgamation of roles and. Let's see. Oh god. Up to present. Fail.
It's just the way she snuggles up into his chest. She just can't really get a read on it properly.
Maybe that's why she studies him for so thoughtfully and for so long. Trying to weigh out the meaning behind it, because there are certain things that are said certain ways for certain reasons, after all. But again, much like before, she decides for some reason or another to just let that thought line drift away. Let that one go.
And are you mine?
She blinks a few times. Kind of snaps a glance up at that. Of course, Ryan.
Just nods to himself.
I've been yours for a long time.
Hmm.
I begged you to mark me.
Yeah.
And she finally gets a softer smile, again reaching up, untangling one of her arms to just brush, the pad of her thumb up his jawline across his cheek. And you didn't believe me. But I'm yours. And I have been. And I will be.
Promise. He says that much like a child, actually, which might surprise 10 Point.
And she nests her head back against his shoulder. Of course I promise.
Well then, milady, let's get you home. And we'll go to the Brooklyn apartment. And I'll cook you something to eat.
You do too much for me, Raya.
I don't care. Plus, I like the little spoiled face you get. The grin as they're walking.
And again, it startles just a little more of an earnest smile onto her face. And yeah, she will be perfectly happy to wrap her arms around him and just let him carry her off. Even if she's down a knife at the moment.
And he carries her all the way back to the Bronx apartment.
Hell of a workout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well then, with that, successfully evaded Chiminage. You sneaky bastard. We will say thank you, players, for playing, watchers for watching. We will see you next time on the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.